Chicago, 2004, a city on the brink of a political revolution. A city known for its grit and glory was about to witness a political upset of epic proportions, one that would be talked about for years to come. Barack Obama, the charismatic young state senator, was heavily favored to win the Illinois Senate race. His eloquence and vision had captured the imagination of many. He represented a new wave of hope and change, a beacon for those yearning for a brighter future. But standing in his way was a Chicago legend, a man who embodied the city's tough, no-nonsense spirit, Mike Ditka, a figure larger than life. Ditka, affectionately known as Dar Coach, was already an icon. His name was synonymous with Chicago pride. He had led the Chicago Bears to Super Bowl glory, cementing his place in the annals of sports history. He was a beloved figure, respected for his straight talk and unwavering belief in hard work. His no-nonsense attitude resonated with many. When he announced his candidacy, many dismissed it as a publicity stunt. They couldn't fathom a sports figure entering the political arena. They underestimated the coach's grit. Ditka was not one to back down from a challenge. Ditka's campaign was a whirlwind of fiery speeches and passionate appeals to American values. He spoke with a fervor that ignited the hearts of many. He spoke directly to the heartland, to the forgotten men and women who felt left behind. His words were a rallying cry for those who felt voiceless. His message was simple. America needed a leader who wouldn't back down, who would fight for them, a leader who understood their struggles. Election night was a nail-biter. The tension was palpable as the nation watched with bated breath. The results were closer than anyone could have predicted. It was a tight race, with every vote counting. When the dust settled, Ditka had pulled off a stunning upset. The underdog had triumphed against all odds. The coach had won, sending shockwaves through the political establishment. It was a victory that would reshape the political landscape. Washington, D.C. had never seen anything quite like Mike Ditka. The new senator from Illinois wasn't afraid to ruffle feathers. He wasn't interested in playing by the rules of the political game. Ditka was there to get things done, and he wasn't afraid to tell you exactly what he thought. His press conferences were legendary. Reporters would brace themselves for his blunt assessments and colorful language. Ditka didn't sugarcoat anything. He spoke his mind, whether it was about wasteful spending, the importance of personal responsibility, or the need for a strong national defense. His colleagues in the Senate were a mix of amused and bewildered. They weren't used to someone who spoke so directly, who challenged the status quo so boldly. But even his detractors couldn't deny his passion, his authenticity. Ditka wasn't a politician, he was a force of nature. And the American people loved it. They were tired of the same old political double talk. They craved a leader who would tell it like it is. Ditka's popularity soared, and whispers of a presidential run began to circulate. Ditka's time on the football field had shaped his worldview. He believed in teamwork, discipline, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. He brought that same mentality to the political arena. He saw America as a team, and he believed that everyone had a role to play in achieving success. He often drew parallels between football and politics. In both realms, he argued, success depended on hard work, determination, and a willingness to put the team above individual glory. Ditka believed in a strong defense, both on the football field and in the world at large. He argued that America needed to project strength and resolve in order to deter its enemies. His political philosophy was a blend of conservative values and a deep-seated belief in the American dream. He believed in limited government, individual responsibility, and the power of free markets. But he also believed in fairness, opportunity, and a safety net for those who were struggling. Ditka's message resonated with a wide swath of Americans. He spoke to blue-collar workers, small business owners, and families who felt like the American dream was slipping away. He offered a message of hope, a vision of an America that was strong, prosperous, and united. The 2008 presidential election was unlike any other. It was a time of great uncertainty and change, a pivotal moment in American history. America was facing a perfect storm of challenges, a struggling economy, 2 wars, and a growing sense of unease about the future. The economic recession had left many Americans jobless and worried about their financial security. Into this maelstrom stepped Mike Ditka, the no-nonsense coach who promised to shake things up. Known for his tough demeanor and straightforward approach, Ditka was a breath of fresh air in the political arena. His campaign slogan was simple but powerful: America first always. It resonated deeply with voters who felt neglected and yearned for a leader who would prioritize their needs. It captured the essence of his message, a return to American strength, prosperity, and leadership on the world stage. Ditka's vision was clear: to restore America's greatness and ensure a brighter future for all. Ditka's rallies were more like sporting events filled with cheering crowds, patriotic music, and thunderous chants of USA, USA. The energy was palpable, and his supporters were fiercely loyal. He campaigned on a platform of economic nationalism, promising to bring back American jobs and rebuild the middle class. Ditka's message was one of hope and renewal, a promise to restore the American dream. He pledged to restore fiscal responsibility, cut taxes, and reduce government regulation. His economic policies aimed to create a more favorable environment for businesses and workers alike. He vowed to rebuild the military, stand up to America's enemies, and put an end to foreign entanglements that didn't serve American interests. Ditka's stance on national security was firm and unwavering. Ditka's opponent, a seasoned politician with a more nuanced message, struggled to keep up. The contrast between Ditka's straightforward approach and his opponent's complex policies was stark. The American people were hungry for change, for a leader who would speak to their anxieties and offer a clear vision for the future. They wanted someone who could address their concerns and provide tangible solutions. On election night, they made their voices heard. The results were a testament to the power of Ditka's message and the desire for a new direction. Mike Ditka, the coach who had once led the Chicago Bears to Super Bowl glory, was now the leader of the free world. His journey from the football field to the White House was nothing short of extraordinary, a true testament to the American spirit. Section 5. The People's Champion. Ditka's connection with the working class. President Ditka never forgot where he came from. He was a man of the people, and he never lost touch with the struggles of everyday Americans. He made it a point to visit factories, farms, and small towns across the country. He listened to their concerns, shared their stories, and promised to fight for them. His communication style was direct and unfiltered. He spoke in plain language, using the same kind of straight talk that had made him a beloved figure in Chicago. He didn't shy away from tough issues or complex policy debates. He explained things in a way that everyone could understand, breaking down complex concepts into simple terms. Ditka's authenticity resonated with working-class Americans who felt ignored by the political elite. They saw in him a leader who understood their values, their struggles, and their aspirations. He was one of them, a man who had worked his way up from humble beginnings and never forgotten his roots. Section 6. No excuses, just results. The Ditka administration in action. The Ditka White House was a no-nonsense operation. The president demanded results, and he didn't tolerate excuses. He surrounded himself with a team of experienced advisors and cabinet members, but he was always the one calling the plays. His leadership style was intense and demanding, but it was also inspiring. He challenged his staff to think outside the box, to come up with innovative solutions to complex problems. He fostered a culture of accountability, where everyone was expected to pull their weight and contribute to the team's success. The Ditka administration was known for its focus on efficiency and effectiveness. The president was a firm believer in streamlining government, cutting red tape, and eliminating waste. He pushed for policies that promoted economic growth, job creation, and American competitiveness on the global stage. Section 7. Peace through strength. Ditka's muscular foreign policy. In the world of international relations, President Ditka projected an aura of strength and resolve. He believed that America should never apologize for its power or its interests. He argued that the best way to ensure peace was to maintain a strong military and be prepared to use it if necessary. The Ditka doctrine, as it came to be known, was based on the principle of peace through strength. The president believed that America had a moral obligation to lead the world, to confront tyranny and oppression, and to promote freedom and democracy. He increased military spending, modernized the armed forces, and reasserted America's role as a global superpower. Ditka's foreign policy was not without its critics. Some accused him of being too quick to resort to military force, of being too unilateral in his approach to international affairs. But his supporters argued that he restored American credibility on the world stage, that he sent a clear message that America would not be pushed around. Section 8. A legacy of iron will. Ditka's enduring impact on American politics. Mike Ditka's presidency was a time of great upheaval and even greater change. His leadership style was characterized by a no-nonsense approach and a determination to push through significant reforms. He challenged the status quo, shook up the political establishment, and left an indelible mark on American politics. His bold decisions often sparked intense debates and discussions across the nation. His legacy is a complex one, marked by both triumphs and controversies. While some hail his achievements, others criticize his methods and policies. His supporters point to his economic record, highlighting the periods of growth and stability that occurred under his administration, his strong stance on national security, which they believe made the country safer and more secure, and his unwavering commitment to American values. They see him as a guardian of the nation's core principles. They argue that he restored a sense of pride and patriotism to a nation that had lost its way. His speeches often invoked a sense of unity and national pride. They credit him with revitalizing the economy, strengthening the military, and ensuring that America remained a dominant global force, and restoring America's standing in the world. His diplomatic efforts were aimed at reasserting American influence on the global stage. His detractors argue that his policies benefited the wealthy at the expense of the poor, leading to greater economic inequality, that his foreign policy was reckless and interventionist, often putting American lives at risk, and that his rhetoric was often divisive and inflammatory. His speeches sometimes alienated large segments of the population. They point to the increased polarization of American society during his presidency as evidence of his divisive legacy. The nation became more fragmented, with deepening political divides. Regardless of one's perspective on his presidency, there is no denying that Mike Ditka was a transformative figure in American politics. He ushered in an era of straight talk, tough love, and a renewed focus on American strength and exceptionalism. His approach was both praised and criticized, but it undeniably left a lasting impact. His legacy continues to be debated and discussed, a testament to the enduring impact of Dar Coach on the American political landscape. His influence can still be felt today, as politicians and citizens alike reflect on his time in office and the changes he brought about. Whether one views him as a hero or a villain, his presidency remains a significant chapter in the story of American politics. The debates about his policies and their effects continue to shape political discourse, ensuring that Mike Ditka's name will not be forgotten anytime soon.